What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. West Ham won, Tottenham won. A hugely uneventful, hugely forgettable game of football. It was a classic end of the season, dead rubber. Had no kind of the hallmarks of a London derby. The atmosphere inside the stadium was not what you'd expect from a game of that supposed magnitude. The Tottenham fans, look, they were clearly trying to cheer on the team and they were trying to do their best. They were very much concentrating on the game on Thursday, with a lot of the songs centred around the game on Thursday, with Bilbao up for grabs, with Tottenham on their way to Bilbao. That was the main kind of chants that you were hearing from the away end. The home crowd, they were clearly getting frustrated. They were clearly getting on West Ham's back, and I thought the way Graham Potter's team was playing, it's no surprise. I thought they were lacklustre. They really struggled to kind of influence the game. I think we held them at arm's length for most of the game, but I think it's fair to say West Ham probably did the same to us. I think it was a game of few chances, few moments, few flashpoints, a few tackles flying in here and there, but by and large we were giving the ball away cheaply. They were giving the ball away cheaply. Obviously we made, I think, 8 changes from our last game, and it showed, because we lacked rhythm, we lacked kind of dynamism. I think our 2 best players were Tel and Odebear by and large on the wings, but other than that, not much to shout out even from those two. Obviously they linked up for the goal. Did come from a mistake from Max Kilman giving the ball to Matthews Tell. He lays on the play for Odebear, and Spurs found themselves 1-0 up in, to be honest, a goal that was absolutely out of nothing. We didn't really see it coming. We weren't really pushing. West Ham making some running. Maybe they looked like the most likely to score, but they didn't really offer much as well, I would say. They obviously equalised through Jared Bowen after what you have to say is poor defending from Tottenham, allowing Bowen to get in behind, and Vicario being beaten at his near post. It just goes right through him. Disappointing from him, and his Premier League form continues to worry and continues to basically cause mistakes and poor moments, and that was another one I felt from Vicario. Should have done better with that finish. Bowen just slotting it like he wasn't even there, but fair play to Bowen. He did have to get it in from a tight angle, but I think Vicario would be very disappointed he let that one through. And then after that, very little happened. I think, if I remember right, West Ham had a chance near the end, which I'm not sure happened, if it was from a free kick, and that nearly went in. I can't exactly even remember what happened. We had very little. I think Sarr had a shot from 25 yards. To be fair, what I would say is we did have a few moments where Spence got in behind on the left-hand side, had a couple of balls across the face to goal. Maybe could have done a bit more with it if one of our players in the box was gambling, and there was some good build-up play to get those moments. I thought down that left-hand side as well, we were definitely the most threatening, especially when Mikey Moore came on. I thought it was a pretty decent cameo from him. Yes, he looked a bit rusty. The corner wasn't particularly great from him, going straight out of play at the near post. Apart from that though, he looked quite sharp. It was really good to see him again, I have to say, and I thought he linked up really well with Spence. And to be honest, we probably looked quite our most dangerous when he was linking up with Spence down that left-hand side in those last 20 minutes, and that was the only sub we made throughout the whole game. So credit to Moore for a fairly decent cameo without doing too much. I mean, it's slim pickings in terms of what we could talk about in this game. Clearly the focus is on Bilbao. You could just feel within the team there was that lack of conviction, especially when going into tackles. You could see there were 50-50s where maybe if there was more riding on this game, they would have gone full-blooded and won the ball, and Richarlison, Basuma pulling out of challenges and not going full-blooded into some tackles, because obviously they're keeping themselves fresh for Thursday. It's understandable, but it's disappointing and frustrating all the same watching that game, knowing that they probably could have put in a bit more into that game and to try and win it. It was just a game where both teams didn't want to lose, it seemed. It was both teams were just trying their best not to have further embarrassment rain onto their season. And I guess with a draw, they kind of got it. Both teams got what they wanted. And a game where, you know, we get a point in a game where we usually struggle, and it's usually a game which West Ham really up their game, but they didn't up their game. So it was disappointing to go there against the poor West Ham team, who are one of the few teams right now probably doing worse than us, and they didn't, treat it like it was their cup final like they usually do, and it was basically a bit of a nothing game. and we didn't kind of take advantage of it, and we just allowed the game to pass us by, where it could have been just a real good mood setter going into Thursday. But a draw is better than a defeat, which we've been used to a lot this season, and a lot of games this season like this one where we've performed like this. Maybe if we came up against a better side we would have lost, but at least we take a draw out of it, we take a point, and we stop the rotting of losses that have been of late in the Premier League. At least we take a point away from home, which has been seldom kind of available for Tottenham this season. I think the main objective going into today was probably no injuries from this game, and I think we achieved that. Maybe Richarlison going off early, I think it was probably due to resting him for Thursday. He seemed to put in a lot of effort, charging players down and causing problems for the centre-backs without really causing too many problems in terms of being a goal threat. But yeah, hopefully he's not injured. But very concerning news on Maddison. I'm just hearing Ange has said that Maddison's injury, his knee injury, does not look great, doesn't look promising, and if that's the case, there's a good chance he could end his season at this point, especially when it's a knee injury, and these things can be very precarious. So that is absolutely gutting if he's out for the season, considering he was just hitting his stride, I felt, and he was just about getting into form and starting to play well, and that's very disappointing that he could start to be, looks like his season could be over. Brilliant performances in the Europa League of late, and it's absolutely gutting, and especially with the former Decky, I have to say. Another performance today which wasn't fantastic from him, and considering he was out of form before his injury, and now he's been back for a few weeks now and hasn't really lit anything up and hasn't found anything near his early season form. That's got to be a concern. That has to be a concern going into what is a massive game on Thursday. In more positive news, and should say Solanke might be fit for Thursday. The medical team are confident he'll be available. So hopefully with him and Richarlison being options, that will be a massive benefit to us going into what is a do or die game on Thursday in terms of our season, in terms of getting into that final Bilbao. Everything rides on Thursday, so obviously understandable we made the changes, understandable the performance is what it was, doesn't make it any less frustrating or any less disappointing watching it. We just wanted the game to end like, you know, they announced stoppage time and I was like, just end the game, there's no point carrying this dross on, no team wants to carry this on. Yeah, and there's not much for me to say because it was just a hugely forgettable game, and a game which won't live long in the memory, put it that way. That's it really, we got the draw, we're not 17th, maybe that draw might save us from finishing the season in 17th, if that's any sort of consolation. Not for many fans, I don't think it will be, but I think the Spurs fans are concentrating on Thursday, I think the team were, so let's get the job done on Thursday, and that's all that matters at the moment. But we'll see you guys in the studio tomorrow. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.